Welcome back to the best bad idea that I've had, ranking the Zelda games. I'm currently streaming the entire Legend of Zelda series in timeline order over on Twitch, so make sure you give me a follow there and join us for some live gameplay, some discussion, and just an overall good time. I did mention at the beginning of this series that there were 23 games that I was playing in my timeline run, and today we're going to be talking about 2 of them that technically aren't a part of the timeline, but I think they deserve a spot anyway. So let's go! Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was a fantastic game. A lot of people will say, oh, this is a Dynasty Warriors game, not a Zelda game. However, the story, the characters, like everything with it, I think it deserves a spot in the timeline. It was so much fun. Just the Dynasty Warrior Zelda mix is just fantastic. I really enjoy it. Age of Calamity is a parallel story to Breath of the Wild. While it takes place in the beginning at the same time as Breath of the Wild, when there's an attack on the castle and Zelda and Link are in trouble and Zelda releases her sacred powers, Terrako, a small guardian, ends up activating and creating a portal in time going back to the past. And when Terrako goes back in time, some malice sneaks through with it and ends up possessing past Terrako. So you have Terrako and you have Malice Terrako. So now there is an alternate timeline to Breath of the Wild where Terrako goes back with knowledge of what's going to happen. However, there's a Terrako with malice infused that also knows the future. And with the information that Terrako has, he approaches Zelda and the good guys and is able to let them know of the future that could happen. So through the story, they're able to find the champions that pilot the divine beasts, and they're being attacked by the blights. However, the difference in this is that there is that portal in time that ends up bringing the future champions to this time. And so you have the old champions and the new champions teaming up together to fight the blights, and they're able to take down the blights. And with the divine beasts not being taken over by Malice, they're actually able to help with stopping Calamity Ganon. And so this parallel story ends up with a happy ending where Calamity Ganon is defeated and all is well. The thing that I really like about these Hyrule Warrior games is being able to play as other characters. It is so fun to be able to play as the old champions, as the new champions. And who doesn't want to play as our favorite Korok, Hestu? Now hear me out. The Hyrule Warriors games have more of a place in the timeline than Triforce Heroes does. I'll just leave it at that. This is where I believe that the timelines are able to reconverge to be able to give us Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and here's why. Hyrule Warriors is a story of Sia, a sorceress who keeps the balance of the Triforce, and she ends up being corrupted by Ganondorf's power. And so she ends up ripping holes in space and time that bring together all of these timelines. It brings together Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and all of these characters end up intertwining together. And so it makes sense in the timeline that they are able to reconverge because of this event. So now you have a legitimate reason for Rito and Zora to exist in the same time in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Because Rito and Zora, before Breath of the Wild, did not exist together. The Rito were in the adult Link timeline, the Zora were in the Fallen Hero and the Child Link timeline. And so this event of Sia opening up these portals in space and time, this is a great explanation as to why there are Rito and Zora together in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And while it isn't technically canon in the timeline, I think it deserves a spot in the timeline, and that is why I am including the Hyrule Warriors games in my timeline playthrough. And again, when it comes to the Hyrule Warriors games, I love being able to play as my favorite characters. Not only can you play as Imp Midna, but you can play as True Form Midna, Ruto, and who wouldn't want to play as Tingle?